to the summer 2021 PEBT project. And so thank you for attending and participating. I just wanted to let everybody know that we will be recording this session and we will be sharing it with everyone after the presentation, along with an updated copy of the presentation that HHS will be going through and the user help documentation as well. So my name is Leanne Simons. I'm the Senior Assistant Director for Data Quality, Data Analysis, Business Analysis, and Legislative Priorities here at the agency. And so we just wanted to thank you all for being here. I do have our colleagues from both the Texas Department of Agriculture and the Health and Human Services Commission who will be presenting the presentation today. If you have any questions, please enter those in the questions and answer feature. We will try to be answering these questions as we move along via the Q&A feature within the Zoom webinar. We will be muting everybody during the presentation as well. We are going to try and hold all questions until the end of the presentation. We do have a lot of information to cover, so I just wanted to be sure and let everybody know that. Again, we are recording this presentation, and so it will be shared with everybody later today, along with the additional documentation that we received from HHS late last night. So at this point in time, I will go ahead and turn it over to Health and Human Services to begin the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Scott, and I am a policy analyst with Texas Health and Human Services. I will be going through a PowerPoint today before we jump into the live demo. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So everyone should be able to see it. So today's agenda, we're going to be going over the PEBT 2021 summary, the newly eligible students, the summer upload process, timeline and key dates, point of contact for technical and other support, a live demo, and the open forum / Q&A. So first, the PEBT school year 2021 summary. So for this previous school year, which is SY 2021, a child had to meet one of the following criteria in order to be eligible for PEBT. They had to be certified for free or reduced price meals through the National School Lunch Program, or NSLP, attend a Community Eligibility Provision, CEP, or Provision 2, P2, school that offers free meals to all students through the National School Lunch Program, born after August 1st, 2014, and in a family who received SNAP benefits for at least 1 month between October 2020 and June 2021. That's our child care population. So as of the end of PEBT 2021, at least 3.8 children, which includes child care and school-age children, received the benefits directly on existing SNAP cards or new PEBT cards through the PEBT online application. These individuals were SNAP certified before June 30th. For summer 21 PEBT benefits, children verified to be enrolled in an NSLP participating school during the last month of the school year will receive direct issuance for summer benefits to their existing card the week of it says 11/29, but it will actually be later in December.
Sarah, if I could just add a little bit to this clarification for everybody on the call. I just want to be sure that everybody understands, while the majority of this presentation is related to the summer upload, the majority of your students within your district, the summer upload is only going to be related to, and we're going to cover this in a little bit, to students beginning 7/1 of this year. Anybody who received benefits in the 2021 school year will receive benefits for summer 2020 for the summer 2021 program based on data that TEA provided to HHS, and HHS will be running that process prior to the upload process being done. So your upload process is going to be a very small subset of your students. It is not going to be all of your students eligible for NSLP or for free and reduced price meals. So I just wanted to clarify that for everybody on the call.
Thanks, Leanne. So indeed, the newly eligible students for summer 2021. So as Leanne stated, we are only going to be looking at NSLP applications completed between July 1st through August 28th, 21. So for this specific population, the NSLP forms should have been received by your office no later than August 8th, 2021. During the school year, they were not NSLP certified at the time to receive 2021 school year benefits. These students should have been enrolled in the last month of school year 2021 in an NSLP campus. These individuals are only going to receive summer 2021 benefits. They will not be retroactively issued school year 2021 PEBT benefits. And this also includes seamless summer option campuses. For those who do not operate the NSLP, but they are considered the CEP or P2 campuses, as of this previous school year, you will upload all the new and transfer students who enrolled between July 1st through August 28th. For children that enroll on or after July 1st, but withdraw before August 28th, be sure to include those in your upload file. Any CEP campuses electing CEP for the first time for this upcoming school year, 21-22, should upload all the eligible students who completed and returned a socioeconomic form between July 1st and August 28th. Families will receive PEBT cards in the mail in December with notices containing information on obtaining assistance.
Sarah, I do need to stop and clarify something. I think you accidentally said August 8th instead of August 28th. So I just want to clarify for everybody that it's August 28th because we're getting a lot of questions in.
Gotcha. My apologies. So for the summer upload process, either after or during the training, you can attempt to access www.yourtexasbenefit.com, and you should be able to see the screenshots that are listed here below. This is where you're going to be logging in to retrieving your password, retrieving your username, resetting your password, and eventually uploading your data. If you receive an error message, please contact your IT team for support to resolve it. The HHSC link will have to be whitelisted by your IT support. And we also recommend trying to access the link again before November 15th to ensure your ability to log in. Only identified school district POCs will have access to HHSC Your Texas Benefits portal to upload the data. So someone else who was not already submitted to us will not be able to access this. Only those who were sent directly to HHSC for account creation. HHSC's CSV file format must be uploaded. This has already been shared with the school districts. However, if you need another copy of it, the template will be available on the Your Texas Benefits portal. File layout must include all of the information, including SSN and DOB for students. All primary parent information is required except for parent date of birth. Be sure to review HHSC's shared user guide for upload instructions, file layout guidance, screenshots, and helpful tips to minimize upload errors. So the timeline for the student uploads. So in October, from the 12th through the 27th, the summer upload testing for selected sample school districts has occurred. On October 25th, TEA and TDA shared the final help guide with all school districts attending the 1028 webinar. So please make sure you review before attending this webinar. On 10/28 today, TEA is hosting this webinar for all school districts and education service centers. HHSC will present and facilitate a live demo of the upload process. So for November and December, from November 14th through November 15th, HHSC will begin creating user accounts for school districts. You will receive an automated email from this email address informing you an account has been created and how to reset your password. Be sure to check your junk and spam folder if you have not received it in your inbox on November 15th. If you haven't received the email by 8 a.m. on November 16th, please email pebt_data@hhs.texas.gov for assistance. From November 15th through December 3rd, school districts will upload the newly eligible students using HHSC's CSV file layout. School districts are advised to upload on 11/15 to give time to correct the file if necessary. The day after uploading, school districts should log into Your Texas Benefits to confirm the upload has been successfully processed. So again, December 3rd is the deadline for students or for school districts to complete uploading the data. School districts that fail to upload their data by December 3rd, those students will not receive PEBT benefits. From December 6th through December 10th, summer PEBT benefits will be issued to newly eligible students. So for file layout and student data upload assistance, such as receiving the error message when you're attempting to upload the file or confirming the upload file has been received, please contact the PEBT_data email address. And later on in the demo, we will show you what some of those error messages and the upload file being uploaded looks like. For student data and NSLP meal eligibility and/or campus eligibility questions, for private schools, please contact your respective education service center. For public schools, please email the TSDS customer support at tea.texas.gov. We will now be getting ready for the live demo of the upload process. This live demo will cover logging into the YTB portal, the file layout for preparing the file upload process, potential errors with uploading the files, monitoring those files, and viewing issuance status. Please have the user guide document accessible/open during the live demo for quick reference. So I will now turn it over to my colleague Ryan, who will facilitate the live demo.
All right, well, good morning. Sorry, I look like I'm on the sun there. That's better. So my name is Ryan Albert, as Sarah mentioned, and I'm a communications manager here at Health and Human Services, and I've been involved with the PEBT project since we got rolling here. Been involved in a lot of the planning and stuff, and I've also worked with a lot of the website over the years that I've been here. So I'm going to walk you through what this looks like when it comes to uploading things through the website. Sarah went through a lot of it, but now we're going to kind of take a tangible look at what this looks like and how it plays out. So I am going to actually, I've got 3 monitors going on here. So let me stop video so you're not looking at the side of my head the whole time, and work on getting my screen up for you. All right. Hopefully you're seeing a blue screen with the Windows logo. Maybe as Leanne asked in the beginning, if that's the case, can you raise your hand real quick? Okay, good.
We see the same thing, Ryan, with the logo, the blue background with the logo.
Okay, perfect. All right. Very good. Sorry, we use Teams mostly, haven't used Zoom a whole lot. All right. So I'm going to be moving things over to that screen here to be able to show, different parts of this process. So as Sarah mentioned, the first big piece of this is that we will be sending these automated messages, and they will likely be coming to you November 14th into the 15th. And again, as Sarah pointed out, if you don't have that when you come into work on November 16th, please let us know and email us at that PEBT_data email address. So let me share what this email address should be looking like. There's going to be a couple of small tweaks to this. Actually, there will be your name will appear at the beginning, and your district ID will also show up in there. So you'll be getting an email that looks like this. And again, as I'm going through all this, pretty much everything I'm talking about should be in that upload guide. So that should be a good reference for what we're talking about here. So this will come to your mailbox. If you don't, like I said, email us, and my communications team, we're managing that mailbox. We'll continue to manage it through this whole process. And if you do have issues or questions about getting access to the website, you run into any issues, please let us know. We have multiple people monitoring that box, and we will get that where it needs to go to get you the answer that you're looking for. So you will get this email, and it will have a temporary password included that you'll need to log in for the first time. And the goal here is we're going to give you a temporary password, and then you'll need to log in, and you can customize that password. So you'll click the link, and it's going to take you to yourtexasbenefits.com. Because this is not live at the moment here, we have a test site up. So let me go to that test site here for you. So you end up on yourtexasbenefits.com, and you're going to click log in. So your user ID, as you maybe saw in that email, is not included in there. So this is something that you're going to have to put in there. And let me bring over the user guide, and it's going to show you exactly what you're going to need to put together as your username. And this will be your username throughout this whole process. You're not going to be updating your username. So if you're a public school, it's going to be under A here. If you're a private school, it's going to be under B, and we'll see what this looks like in just a minute. So you'll need obviously to know your district ID to put that in there. So let me put one in, and you can see what that looks like. So in this case, we started with that PEBT. We have our district ID, and then let's say my name is Andrew Wave. So I use the A, and then the Wave, and then these underscores, that's going to be the, I don't mean to be too remedial here, but, shift and dash next to the 0 button, likely on your keyboard, that's going to get to those underscores, and you're going to put that username in there. And then you will need to put in that password that was included in that email. And then you're going to log in, and you're going to come to a screen here that walks you through the process to change your password. We do outline on the right-hand side here what we need to include. It is 8 to 32 characters. You need at least 2 numbers. You can't have the same character more than 3 times in a row, and it can't be the same as your username. So, this would be up to your discretion to figure out what this is going to be. But let me walk you through the process here. Existing a temporary password, and then I'm going to put in a new password. Okay, and you will need to pick some security questions. We have several options here. So let me put a few in here. Got Milo the dog. An eagle, and childhood hero was dad. All right. I guess I messed up the password. So here's an example of what an error might pop up to be for you. So let me try that again. Pressure's on with everybody watching me. All right, let's try this again. Still doesn't like the password. All right, I promise you I tested this, and the one that I picked, I think worked before. All right, see if that works. Okay, so you'll get the notification that your password has been changed, and you're good to go. And so then you can go to log in, and you do need to use that password to get back in. No longer the temporary password, but the one that you just chose. And then you're going to log in. This warning thing will always pop up every time that you log in. That's completely normal. And then you're going to come in, and we're going to have two screens here that you'd be going back and forth between. So you're going to end up landing on this uploaded files history page. And so since this is a brand new account, we're not going to see anything here because I haven't uploaded anything yet. But you can click on the uploaded files button, and you're going to go to this new screen. So that's what we're working with here. Two screens, not too much. The upload files, or you can go back to that history screen. So let's go to this upload file screen. There's a little intro in the beginning here. As Sarah mentioned, there is a link to this template that if you didn't receive that, if you can't find that for some reason, once you get in, you can download that file right here. That's the spreadsheet that has all the different fields included. There are a couple things on the right-hand side, just in terms of file size and how many records can be included in that spreadsheet. And then also on the right-hand column here is that file upload help. So that help guide that we've been referencing, you can also grab that here. And there's also that email address where you can reach out to us if you do have any issues. So I'm going to bring over a copy of this spreadsheet that I've put a few lines into here with some dummy data. And so this is what the spreadsheet, hopefully you've had a chance to familiarize yourself with this already, but several columns here. And you can see how it breaks down. It does list the character limits on the top here. And so we see everything from the school year to the student first and last name, student date of birth, social security number or S number, student ID or local ID, and then unique ID. Some of those may or may not apply to public and private schools. So one of those doesn't look familiar, don't be worried. There is student gender, and then there's the district ID, campus ID, the entry date as in when you're completing this, or if you're having a vendor complete that could be that date. Withdrawal date, if this child was withdrawn from your district or the campus, you would indicate that in that column. And then the parent information. So we have the parent first name, last name, date of birth, and I'll bring something up in just a minute here that shows the mandatory fields, but I'll just walk through everything that's included at this point. So the parent date of birth, parent email, phone number, the address, address line 2, and then city, state, and zip. So let me bring that help guide back over. Let's find, there is a table that lays out everything that is included and not, or I'm sorry, that is mandatory and not mandatory. So here you'll find starts on page 9 of that guide. You can see everything from school year, first name, last name, date of birth, social security number and S number. There is a slight difference here for public and private schools. The student ID, unique IDs, gender, district ID. If I'm not going too fast, but again, you should have a copy of this that you can reference. And we get down to the parent information.
Ryan,
Yeah.
this is Leanne. I just want to let everybody know, we stated this at the beginning of the presentation. We have not shared the user guide yet. We will be sharing it later today. I see a lot of questions coming in around that. So we did not receive it until late yesterday, the most recent copy. And so we will be sharing that later today, along with the PowerPoint and the recording. Sorry to interrupt, Ryan.
No, no problem. Sorry. Thank you for that clarification. That makes a difference. All right, so you will be getting a copy of this and you can reference all this. So when it comes to parent information, we do need parent first name and last name for public schools, different for private schools. And then the other information here, you know, one of the key things here is that we do need an address. If we're going to be mailing PEBT cards, we've got to have that address where we can be able to reach out to send those cards to the families. So you'll be able to check this all out and see what's required. And so as you can even see what I put in here, you know, it even includes some blank fields in some of those columns that are not actually required. So you want to keep what's in line 1 on there, and we also need to have this end of student records included. So we need to have all the child information in between those things, whether that's 4 kids or 400 kids. We need that top line to remain, and we need that end of student records to remain at the bottom of the student records that you've input in there. Okay, so let's go back to the website. And so this is, you know, a fairly standard thing for uploading. You can either drag a file from a desktop or a folder and put it in here, or you can browse for a file. So let me close that spreadsheet so I don't have any issues. And then we would go browse for a file. And also in the guide, there is a naming convention that we will need you to follow. And so it's going to be your district ID _ and then file. And then in the guide, it has the number sign. And so we will need you to name these in order. And if you upload one and then realize you need to upload another one, so that first one should be file 1, the next one you upload should be file 2, and so on. So I'm going to upload that. One thing to note here is, though, that I just chose that to upload, and now it's sitting here basically ready to upload. It has not been uploaded until I click upload file. So after I do that, it takes me to this uploaded files history screen, which again is where I landed when I logged in at first, but it's going to show that file name, who uploaded it, the date that it came in, and then it's going to have a different status. So a couple different things that could show up here for the status. Basically, the way that we're handling these things is that we're going to be automatically processing what is sent into us, typically overnight. So we would encourage you to, if you upload it, you know, on Thursday, then on a Friday, that next day on Friday, you would log back in and see what this looks like. Because the status will likely have changed. And let me go back to this guide and can find the different things that could be there for the different status in that column. So it'll be received pending validation, which is what we just saw when it has just been uploaded, hasn't been processed. If it's processed successfully, no issues, it'll just say processed successfully. If there are errors, as in there is something wrong in the formatting, or there were fields that were not completed that need to be completed, so those mandatory fields were left open, those we're gonna, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute here. We're gonna tell you how many errors there are, and then we'll have a file that you can actually download to see exactly what had happened. And then partially processed, so where certain files or certain records are rejected. So all the details here are for the different statuses that could be there. So let me log out of this account and let me log back into another one that's going to be able to show us what these different statuses look like. And again, anytime you need to get back in, go to yourtexasbenefits.com. You're going to put in that username, the password that you selected. And when you go back in, again, you're going to land on the upload files history page. So for this one, we see that this person has updated or has uploaded multiple versions here. In our testing here, we've taken it all the way up to 20 some versions. I'm assuming you will likely not get anywhere close to 20-some versions of this that you would need to include, but as you add more, if you need to add more, again, just update that, that number on the back end of the file name. Okay, so we have some that are processed successfully and you're good to go. There's nothing that has happened with that yet in terms of benefits being issued. And we'll get to the issuance status in just a couple of minutes here. So here's an example of a file that was uploaded and we have some errors. And so if you click on that, that downloads the file. And then we can go in and see, as I mentioned, exactly what happened with the file. And so it lays it out by the row with the name and the information about what happened. So we see that for Mia, the last name was left off. So that's a mandatory field. You would need to update that. And then for the other two people here, we have an invalid campus ID and we have an invalid district ID. So you would need to go back to that file that you created and uploaded. You would not be able to grab that original file back from our website. So when you do upload these files, this could be something to make sure you note is that, not that, you would instantly delete it, but we need you to not delete it. We need you to hang on to that until it's been processed to ensure that if there are errors, you can make those changes and re-upload it. So this person would need to go back, address these few issues. It even shows the line number in that original spreadsheet. Try to make it easier for you to find exactly where the issue was in what you sent us. And then one important thing to note is that, so we mentioned the naming convention here of adding on the number at the end. If you have an error like that and you need to make corrections, again, you go back to that original file, and then we need you to upload that file with the same number. So this is your first attempt, and this is file 1. We processed it, you had a few errors, go back to that spreadsheet you had, update those things, just save it as it was as file 1 and re-upload it to take the place of the one that had the errors. Okay, so those are the statuses. Again, in that case, you fix those errors, we're going to process it again, and then that status would be updated. So issuance status, this is going to be where it's going to show what exactly has happened with the issuance. And so nothing will be changing with this until we get into December and we actually issue benefits. So, we're starting this upload process in mid-November. If you check back late November, there's still not going to be anything here. So if you go into issuance status, again, you can download a spreadsheet. And it's going to show all the data in there. And then in the very last column, it'll show the status of benefits issued or not. So that kind of close the loop for you. Again, this could be something that you hang on to in case you do have questions from families, anybody that reaches out to you, you'd be able to reference that to confirm whether or not those benefits were issued. Okay, and then there is in that guide, which you will be getting, these are the possible things you'll see in that issuance status: benefits issued, not issued, already issued, or there is some kind of exception. We'll have to work through those. Let's see if there's anything else I want to cover with you. I think that kind of covers it. I mean, this hopefully isn't, there's not a whole lot to it. I know you might run into issues, and again, let us know if you do, but it really just comes down to sending us those files and then being able to view what's happened, fixing any errors, and then we'll update the issuance status once those benefits have been issued or not issued. So I think that's all I had to cover on this. We can certainly, as we get into Q&A time, I can go back and pull anything else up, but I'll hand it back over. Not sure how we want to handle the questions portion here.
All right, thanks, Ryan. I unfortunately got kicked out of this for a brief minute, so I can't see all of the questions that were asked. I can only see the questions that were asked since I was able to rejoin. But one of the things that we did want to clarify for everybody is that you are not uploading all of your student population who's eligible for free and reduced price meals. You are only uploading anybody who completed a household application. And if you are a CEP, if you are a newly eligible CEP campus, they would need to be completing the socioeconomic form, and they have to have completed that form between 7/1 and 8/28 of 2021. This is not for student, and so the rest of your student population who either completes an application after 8/28, they are not eligible for the summer PEBT program. So I just want to make that very clear. Anybody who completes an application after 8/28 is not eligible for this program and for this summer upload. And there's a question in here about, do we upload our entire district enrollment? No, you are only uploading students, again, who completed an application between that time frame and they were approved for free and reduced price meals. The rest of your student population who's eligible for free and reduced price meals that receive benefits in the 2021 school year will receive benefits if they were enrolled in an NSLP campus at the end of the 2021 school year. And what TEA has done is we have provided HHS with a file of all students who were enrolled based on your attendance data, that all students who were enrolled at the end of the school year for the last 6 weeks. And so what HHS is going to do is they're going to take everybody who received benefits in 2021, they're going to bump that up against the 6-week attendance file that TEA provided, and those students will be direct issued their benefits. So you don't need to worry about any of those students. Again, you only need to focus on the students that filled out that form between 7/1 and 8/28. And I know I keep saying that over and over again, but I just want to make sure that that's very clear. These are not students who attended summer school necessarily, or students who received the free meals throughout the summer. So I see some of those questions coming in as well. I'm hoping that that helps clear up some of the confusion, and we will try to continue to answer some of those questions. I also want to address some of the questions around the enrollment and withdrawal dates. So enrollment and withdrawal dates are not required fields, and so you do not need to upload those. I see a lot of questions about which date should be provided, and so that is not a required field. Parent date of birth is an optional field as well. We understand that all districts, while you may have the ability to collect parent date of birth, we understand that you may not have parent date of birth because it's not required. The parent email is also an optional data element as well. TDA, are there any questions in here that you want to try to address?
Hi, yes, this is Annika Van Dyke from the Texas Department of Agriculture. I am doing my best to keep up with the question and answer box and answering those questions as they come in. Some of the common themes I'm seeing in these questions are around that time period, around the acceptable form that could have been used. So just to clarify on that, for all schools, whether you're operating NSLP, SSO, in those programs, you would have had to accept. We've communicated several times over the course of last year and throughout the summer that the household application should have been available to families to establish eligibility, specifically for the purposes of PEBT. So for NSLP and SSO operating, or SFSP, the household application is the acceptable form. and it would have had to have been received between July 1st, 2021 and August 28th, 2021. But that would also include children on your direct certification list between that period as well. For schools or campuses that as of the previous school year that were operating or had elected in the previous school year CEP, this would include all new or transfer students to your school, to your district. The only case in which a socioeconomic status form is acceptable for summer PEBT, and this is a very small number of schools that are electing CEP or P2 for the first time in school year 21-22. Because you wouldn't have been able to process household applications, the socioeconomic form was acceptable. But again, I will repeat, that is for a very small sliver of schools that are electing CEP or P2 for the very first time in school year 21-22. I've tried to answer those questions as I've come into the Q&A box. If that's still not clear, I do want to mention as well that ESCs are being trained on this. We do want to make sure that you include the correct student population in your files. So please do not hesitate to reach out to your ESCs for questions. If there's something that needs further clarification, ESCs know to contact TEA or TDA. We don't want you to be guessing. So please, if you do need further clarification, do not hesitate to reach out to ESCs, and we'll ensure that your questions are answered to the full extent possible.
Thanks, Annika. I did want to address one of the common questions that we're also receiving around pre-K students. Can someone from HHS or TDA address pre-K students and if they should be uploaded, if they're considered newly NSLP eligible?
So I'll jump in here again. This is Annika again from TDA. So just to clarify, for PEBT, for this section, this part of the PEBT program, which is the school age population, as has been mentioned previously in the call, in order to be eligible for summer PEBT, the student had to have been enrolled at an NSLP operating, or that includes SSO as well, SFSP operating school in the last month of school year 2021. If you have any doubt, I don't want to tell you to leave out populations completely. If you have any doubt, you could include them in the upload, but know that any pre-K child that was not enrolled and was not eligible for free or reduced price meals under the National School Lunch Program or School Breakfast Program in the last month of school year 2021 will not be eligible for summer PEBT. That is a strict requirement of the program. And as Leanne mentioned, TEA has provided a full enrollment list for all public and charter schools, and TDA has provided a full enrollment list for all private schools that include that population who is enrolled at the end of school year 2021.
Thanks, Annika. Ryan, I'm getting some questions around the actual upload process. So I'm going to go ahead and cover a couple of those. One is they're asking if they had to re-upload to make a correction, why do they need to change the file number on the file?
No, if you're correcting an error, that would be when you keep the file name the same. So if you have file 1, you get it back and we say there's errors, you go back to that original file 1 you hopefully still have on your computer, you make errors, you just save it with the same file name and re-upload it as file 1. It's only if you send in file 1 and then you come across more names that need to be added, then you would use a new template or a new version of the template, name that version 2 and upload it. Same thing though, in that version 2, if you have errors, correct those, and that version 2 re-upload it as number 2. And hopefully that makes sense.
And then here's kind of one more question, Ryan, related to that. So if they had students, if they uploaded a file and they had students that were marked as processed successfully, but they also had errors, when they send their correction file, do they only include the students with the errors, or do they include everybody?
I believe, well, let me defer to, we do have somebody from our IT team on here.
I mean, if the file status is processed successfully, that definitely that file would not have any records that you need to correct though. Does that answer your question?
I believe so, Ken. Okay, I want to go ahead and take some of these questions around the file format. So I just want everybody to understand that the file format template that has been provided, that is the format in which the data needs to be uploaded. It must be in that order. If you upload in a different order, then that's different from the template. It will error out. So please be sure that you are using the template that was provided. It was provided in the TAA that was released a couple of weeks ago. I can also add it to the communication that I'm going to send today with a recording and the. But I think when you received this email invite, you received a link to the TAA to the administrator address letter, and within that letter is a link to the file template. We're also getting questions about where would you be downloading this information from? Should it be from your student information system or from your cafeteria software? That is really up to each district independently. We cannot tell you exactly which set of software it should come out of, but we are asking that the PEAMS coordinators and the food services department and cafeteria department, child nutrition directors, that they all work together. This is not just for one person to be responsible for. This needs to be a coordinated effort at the district. If the PEAMS coordinators are the ones that are going to be uploading the data, they need participation and assistance from the child nutrition staff in order to identify who will be eligible to upload. And so, you know, we are asking that these two departments work together. I have, just so everybody knows, from the TEA perspective, I have also shared the template layout with our student information system vendors. And I will be setting up a webinar for those vendors, hopefully next week, to walk through the file layout and the requirements of the program as well. So I did want to let you know that, but there has been an email sent to all student information system vendors that we have on file with the file layout and the information. And I'm going to try to get through. We're getting a lot of questions around who the point of contact was. So what TEA did a couple of weeks ago is we pulled the PEAMS coordinators from our AskTED list that's published in our AskTED system. And we do not have a list of child nutrition directors here at the agency. And so what we did is we provided that list to each ESC. We asked them to contact each of the districts to confirm that the PEAMS coordinator information was correct, and also to add anybody else that needed to be added as a point of contact. If you feel that someone else within your district needs to be added to that list, I need immediate action taken on that today. I need for you to notify your ESC who needs to be your point of contact, because I am going to be providing HHS with an updated list. I have already provided the list to them once, but we did have some issues with some email addresses, so I will be providing them an updated list. So I need all information to me by the end of the day today, so I can provide it to HHS tomorrow. So please get with your ESC and provide them your point of contact or anybody that you need to add. There's a question in here, HHS, about will parents still need to apply for these benefits, or will they be automatically issued? So I'll turn that over to you.
No, they will not have to apply in order to receive those benefits.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Let me go through some more of these questions. I think I've answered a lot of these questions already related to if they're new or transfer students. Within the presentation, we talk about if you received any, within the CEP campuses, if you received any newly transferred students, they would be, again, we'd rather you err on the side of caution and go ahead and upload somebody who completed that application within that time period. And then the validation process on the back end will determine if the student was enrolled at the end of the school year. I want to make sure that everybody understands, because I have already received this question. We do not need for the districts to go determine if the student was enrolled at the end of the school year. We are already taking care of that for you here at this end, because we have provided that 6-week enrollment file to HHS. So hopefully that will alleviate some of the processing that you will have to do on your side. I wanted to say again, we are recording this session. We will be sharing the recording, the PowerPoint presentation, the template, and the help guide later today.
I'm looking at questions here too and clarify one thing, maybe back to that error question, even maybe we didn't answer that, what people were looking for. So in terms of what you need to re-upload after you make those corrections. So if you send in a file with 50 students on it and we tell you there are 3 errors, we need you to send in all 50 again with those corrections included in that, rather than just sending in those 3 that need to be corrected.
Okay, and I still see questions coming in around SSO districts. Any campus who decided to implement SSO for this school year is eligible for this program. But maybe I'm just far behind on these questions. In TDA, HHS, as you see questions, please feel free to jump in and answer the questions.
Yeah, there was a question about for address, do we want physical address or mailing address? I would say we want mailing address, because that's going to be the purpose of us collecting it, is to send out those cards, those PBT cards, benefits on them.
And then one thing that I think Ryan covered, but it's also in the help guide, is ensuring that you upload the primary contact information. I know that you may have primary, secondary, even more than that within your system, within your student information system. So we are asking that you upload the primary contact information for the students that are eligible. Let me continue to go through these questions.
There's a question about that. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm seeing some questions about direct certification. So if direct certification is included, that's eligibility for free or reduced price meals. So if you have children on your direct certification list that are newly on your direct certification list for between July 1st, 2021 and August 28th, 2021, they're new to your direct certification, you would include them in the upload. Kids who were directly certified last year and are on that enrollment file that we've been speaking about, those will be part of the first issuance group. They don't need to be part of the upload here, but if you have new students to your direct certification list between that time period, July 1st and August 28th, please include them in the upload.
We're being asked to clarify the information about knowing which students are eligible at the end of the last month of the school year. And so from TEA's perspective, what we did is we pulled all students at the NSLP campuses that had attendance reported for the last 6 weeks of the school year. And that set of data of students was provided to HHS. And so what HHS is going to do is they're going to take everybody who received 2021 benefits and then bump that list up against the file that TEA provided. I know TDA also provided a list that they received from their private schools, and that's what's going to determine if the student will receive benefits or not. I hope that makes a little bit more sense.
There's a question about will parents receive a new card or will benefits be added to their current cards? This population that we're talking about right here, these are all newly eligible for. They should all be newly eligible for PEBT, so they would be getting a new card in the mail. For the other people who are eligible for summer PEBT, if they've gotten PEBT in the past or they are a SNAP recipient, their family receives SNAP, then we would be putting that on their existing cards. But since these people are new, we would be mailing them a new card.
And you will be uploading any newly enrolled students who completed a form between July 1st and 8/28, not all newly enrolled students. I just wanted to clarify that as I see that question in here. I see a question, we are NSLP without using provision or CEP, so do we still need to send a file? Yes, if you are an NSLP campus and you have eligible students, you would need to upload a file with those students. Ryan, they're asking to clarify what needs to be submitted when a correction needs to be made.
So in that error message, it should clearly show, what was missing. It'll say a last name was missing. It'll say a parent name or an address was missing. So, or the format was incorrect. So it should clearly point out like the line that's in and the student name. So that you should be able to just go back to that original file and, readdress the things that are for that student record.
Annika, I still see some questions coming in about which forms need to be completed. Can you cover that again?
Sure. And just to mention as well, I know that the slides have not yet been sent out to many of you. When you do get those slides, I'll just ask you to reference, I believe, slide 4 and slide 5 have that information. And then again, you have your ESC contacts. But as the rundown from the top, for NSLP, SSO, SFSP, you would have had to, it's the household application for free or reduced price meals. So they would have had to been certified between, or they would have had to submit their form to you between July 1st and August 28th. It's okay if you processed it after 8/28, but as long as it was received by your, by the Child Nutrition Office by 8/28, the NSLP household application for free or reduced price meals, that includes NSLP, SSO, SFSP, that income determination or certification must use that NSLP household application for free or reduced price meals. The only instance where a socioeconomic status form is acceptable for summer PEBT, this is the only time. And again, I mentioned this earlier, there are very, very few schools, talking about all the schools in Texas, there are very few schools that are newly electing CEP or P2 for the first time in school year 21-22. That's the only instance where a socioeconomic status form was acceptable. The vast majority of you, that does not apply to. So even if you are operating SSO, TEA and TDA have communicated in several instances that the household application, even if you are not doing, if you're not having a broad distribution of the household application to your entire student body, you had to have made that application form accessible to parents in order to establish PEBT eligibility. So those are the only instances or the only documentation that is acceptable for NSLP, SSO, SFSP for those operators is the household application for free reduced price meals. And then direct certification is also included in that.
Thank you. I do want to cover a couple of things. I've been asked if we're going to put these Q&As together and try to get everything out to you. Yes, there are hundreds of questions in here, so just give us some time to put that together. But the 3 agencies will be working together to put together a Q&A to answer a lot of these questions. There is already a Q&A available on HHS's website as well that covers these programmatic requirements. But we see a lot of good questions in here that we want to be sure that we cover too. I'm also being asked, who at the ESC do they need to contact? It should be your main PEAMS contact. That's who I contacted because that's who I have communication with here at the agency. And so I would contact whoever your main PEAMS contact is at your ESC to get your POC, your point of contact updated. Ryan, there was another question about what if a parent threw away their card? What should they expect to happen if they no longer have their card?
Yeah, and I've answered a couple of them separately, but I saw there are more questions about that. So the population, again, we're talking about here, newly eligible, so they wouldn't have a card, so they'll be mailed a new card. However, we are obviously doing summer PEBT for other students other than what we're talking about here today. So yes, we would be putting it on their existing card. If they don't have their card anymore, and we have indicated as we sent out these cards in the last 1.5 years here that they should hang on to them, but obviously they get lost, they get tossed. So anybody can call. We have it's called the Lone Star Help Desk, and they're a vendor that manages the whole EBT card system. And so you can either Google Lone Star Help Desk and their number pops right up, or the number is 800-777-7328. So 800-777-7328 for the Lone Star Help Desk.
Ryan, another question related to communication this time around. They're asking if they're going to receive any types of communication letters or some type of communication information that they can share with the parents within their district about the program.
We're not planning to do that for summer here. If somebody is eligible for PEBT and they have a card show up in their mail, well, everybody who's getting summer PEBT will get a notice in the mail, whether they're a new family that we're talking about today, or they're an existing family who's already gotten PEBT benefits. There will be a notice going out to them to let them know what's happening. So since there's no opportunity right now to complete an application or anything for these summer PEBT benefits, there was some communication that went out there in mid to late August that could have been shared at that point to complete that form by 8/28 if they hadn't already. There is information, as Leanne mentioned, on our website, on the HHS website. So hhs.texas.gov/PEBT. So it's hhs.texas.gov/PEBT. There are some FAQs on there that have some basic information about the program. So no formal communication that we'll be sending out because we're just to the point where we're issuing benefits and there's nothing proactively that parents can do to sign up for these at this point. But if PEBT continues for this school year, there would certainly be communication about that.
All right, thank you. I see some questions in here asking if a district, accidentally or unintentionally uploaded somebody within the file who may have received benefits in the 2021 school year, and also automatically received through the direct issuance through that process that HHS is going to run against a 6-week enrollment. Will we be validating that? Yes, HHS will validate with these uploads. They're going to validate that the student was enrolled at the end of the prior school year of the 2021 school year. They're also going to validate to see if the student has already received benefits. And so there is a validation in place to do that, so they will not be receiving the double benefits. I also saw a question in here, and I've lost it now, but I believe the question was, there's some confusion around newly enrolled, what the term of newly enrolled means. And in this case for PEBT, when we say newly enrolled, we're talking about newly enrolled for free, newly enrolled to be able to receive free and reduced price meals. I know we've also been talking about newly enrolled students, which is a little different from newly enrolled for the program, but there is a possibility, and I guess this is a scenario where we would want you to upload this student. So for example, a student or a set of students was not eligible for free and reduced price meals in the 2021 school year. For whatever reason, they didn't complete the form. They did complete the form and they were not eligible based on their income. Whatever reason they were not NSLP, they were not eligible to receive free and reduced price meals in the 2021 school year. So they come in on 7/15, for example, and I'm just throwing a date out there, and they complete the form. But that student was enrolled at an NSLP campus at the end of the school year. And so the student would complete the application. They would be uploaded. Now, I know you're not necessarily going to know, especially if they're a transfer student, if that student was enrolled in an NSLP campus at the end of the school year. And again, you don't need to know that because TEA and HHS will be validating that for you. So I just wanted to clarify that. I know that was a long explanation, but there is a different, when we say newly enrolled eligibility, we're talking about free and reduced price meal eligibility. And again, I see a question that just came in. You don't need to know if the student was enrolled last year. We will take care of that on your side. And then when you receive the file back, there will be an indicator that says that the student was not enrolled in the prior school year or something like that. There will be a status for that student. And I do see some questions in here that I'm not ready to try and answer right now. I don't know the answer. We will have to go and talk to some other people here in the agency or with TDA and TEA. I mean, TDA and HHS.
I'm still reading through I know there are a lot of questions in the Q&A box. I will echo Leanne to say that there are a number of these that we'll just need to take back and provide a little more consideration before we provide a response for. But two high-level things I just want to address again. I'm sorry if this was not clear before, but I've seen a number of questions again around direct certification. If those kids are new to the direct certification list between July 1st and August 28th, please include them in the upload. So direct certification is part of this as well. And then I know I've said this a few times, but I do want to make it very clear in previous iterations of PEBT, the socioeconomic status form was acceptable. The only case in which the socioeconomic status form is acceptable for summer PEBT is for CEP campuses that are newly, campuses newly electing CEP in school year 21-22. So again, I've said this, that the vast majority of you that does not apply to. CEP campuses in 2021, you are uploading new or transfer students. Campuses electing CEP for the first time in school year 21-22, the socioeconomic status form is acceptable. That is the only case in which the socioeconomic status form is acceptable. So again, if you have further clarifications that are needed on that point regarding the socioeconomic status form, please contact your ESC. We want to make sure that information is very clear to you when you're processing your children for these files.
Thanks, Annika. There's a question about the population of students who received PEBT last year, and if they're eligible for summer, do they qualify for the summer? Yes, if they receive 2021 PEBT benefits, they are eligible if they were still enrolled at the end of the school year at an NSLP campus. So I just wanted to be clear that yes, they are eligible, but they do have to be enrolled at the end of the school year. This is a really good question, and I want to cover this as delicately as possible, but you're asking if PEBT is a one-time thing or will we be expected to do this every year? And so I'm going to go ahead and start the answer to this question, then I'm just going to ask HHS to add anything. So this is honestly our third iteration of PEBT. The first iteration was for the 1920 school year. And what TEA, HHS, and TDA did, that was probably the simplest program to implement because all schools were shut down at the end of the school year. And so, based on the PEMS economically disadvantaged code, we were able to easily provide benefits to everybody when their parents came in and applied and to validate that. The second iteration of this program was for the 2021 school year. And if some of you remember, you were required to submit a survey to TEA related to your virtual attendance percentage for the years for each month, or for this past year for each month. And that determined which students were eligible based on applications received by HHS. The summer 2021 program is our third iteration, and this is the first time that we are asking districts to upload the data. The reason we are needing to do this is because of the timing of the program. TEA does not receive, as a lot of the PEMS coordinators know, TEA does not receive this data, the final data, until January of 2022. So we will not be able to upload the summer PEBT information. And we also don't distinguish the when a student or when a household, when a student became eligible within our data collection as well. So only by the school year. But going forward, the USDA has released guidance and information for the 21-22 school year. And that's about all that I think we can say at this point in time. Sarah, unless you want to add something, the three agencies are working together on a 21-22 plan, but we don't have any additional information to share at this time, as we're still trying to work through the details, and we are working on a plan that needs to be submitted for approval. So I don't know if this is something that's going to continue to happen every year, but one thing I will say is that the requirements for this program have changed with every iteration of the program. Sarah, do you want to add anything?
No, I think you covered it pretty well.
And that's the same question that I received from a vendor, one of the vendors as well, is this going to be the same requirements every year? That's really difficult for us to say because in our experience, the requirements have changed with every iteration of this program.
There's a question here about when should parents be expecting those notices, those letters that I mentioned. And so when we process and issue those benefits, that's when, if they're a newly eligible family, a card goes out, and then separately a notice goes out. So those are going to be going in the mail essentially at the same time. And again, we're looking at early to mid-December for that. For those who have received PEBT before and aren't going to be a part of this upload because, as Leanne even just mentioned, they were in school last year and at the end of the year and they got PEBT benefits, we're targeting November 29th to December 3rd for issuing those benefits. So again, the same thing, money would be put directly on their card and a notice would go out at the same time. So in that scenario, if the family still has their card, the money will end up on their card and that will beat that notice to them, but that notice would then be on the way to them to let them know why they got these extra funds, but they can certainly always get a hold of us and we can provide that information over the phone.
I see a question here asking, should LEAs be sending out the NSLP form to give every family the opportunity to submit back to the LEA so they will be eligible for PEBT? For the summer program, the deadline has passed. But if you're talking about 21-22 PEBT eligibility, TEA's recommendation, and we did have a webinar on August 19th regarding information that is used here at TEA related to the NSLP form. And so yes, we did ask on August 19th that all districts please be sending the NSLP form if they are not already doing that. We did see several districts who were saying they were not going to be collecting the information. Change that after the August 19th webinar. And so yes, going forward for 21-22, if any parents are not completing this form, they need to understand that they will not be eligible for PEBT. I see a question about students coded 99. I'm going to get back to you all on that. I want to make sure that I have the right answer. Again, that's really related to some students who complete the local income form. And so let me get back to you on that, because that has always been a point of confusion for this program. I see a question that's in here about where do these forms for the parents come from? I'm assuming you're talking about the NSLP form or the household form or the socioeconomic form. Those are provided by the school district. Typically that's provided upon enrollment or re-enrollment. And so, but if a parent's eligibility or income level changes over the school year, it is the parent's responsibility to contact the district to let them know that they may be eligible for free and reduced price meals. So, you know, after the enrollment period or after a new student enrolls, I do believe that districts are depending on the parents to come in and notify them that they need to complete that household or socioeconomic form if that applies to the campus. So I really don't want to talk about 21-22 program requirements at this point in time. We will be sharing information as soon as possible. I just don't want to confuse. I don't want to cause any more confusion. I really want to focus on summer 2021 at this time. So, but we will be sharing information about 21-22 as soon as we can. And HHS and TDA, do you see any other questions that you want to address?
I think this is Annika from TDA again. I think most of the questions that I have seen, we have addressed. I don't see any, the major themes that I pulled out earlier, I believe have been addressed, but I just want to reiterate again that this is not your final opportunity to ask questions. We do really encourage you to contact your ESC if there is lingering uncertainty about the children that should be included in this upload. They will work with you and we will work with you throughout the coming weeks to ensure that you have all the information that you need to successfully upload this file. And we really appreciate all the work that you are doing to ensure that your eligible students are able to receive this summer benefit.
Yeah, and I think we've addressed everything. I mean, if I may have gone through here, missed something. I don't know if anybody has any of the website template type questions and want to resubmit it to look at it to make sure I didn't miss it. But I think we've covered everything that I've seen here.
Okay, I am going to go ahead and start closing this out. Again, I know we have not addressed every question that came in. We will work together to get all of these questions downloaded and addressed and shared with everybody. I'm not really sure if we're going to, we may add some of these to the HHS Q&A site. TEA may also host a Q&A specifically for districts. And so let us work through that with the 3 agencies and get back to you on when these Q&As are available. But I did want to let everybody know that we will be, again, we will be sharing the recording, the help guide, the template, and the presentation with everybody later today. Because of our file size or email limitation of how many emails I can send in one email, they will come in separate. Yeah, I could think I'm only limited to 500 email addresses. So if you don't receive it and one of your cohorts does receive it, it's not that you're not going to receive it. I'm just having to break it up into separate emails. So you will receive something today or by first thing tomorrow morning. for your point of contact, because I'm continuing to see these questions come in, you need to contact your local ESC or your ESC who provides your PEEN support. That is who TEA contacted to confirm points of contact for your district. So what was provided to them was the PEEN coordinator information, because that is the only contact information that TEA has. We do not have child nutrition contact information here at the agency. And so what was requested of the ESCs was to confirm the point of contact and add anybody else that needed to be added. So if you need to confirm who your point of contact was, please contact your ESC and have them send any updated information to me by close of business today. And I know I've got a lot of ESCs on the call as well. And so, you know, please contact me today. All of you have the ESCs, you have my contact information. You can contact me directly if needed, if you have any other questions. I also wanted to give a shout out. We had 5 districts who helped us participate and not only participate in testing, but also they've been the ones I've been reaching out to, asking questions. And so I want to give a shout out to Mission Consolidated, to Dallas ISD, Houston ISD, Arlington, and Galena Park ISD for helping me. Also some of the service centers I've been contacting, like Region 4 and Region 10, asking, you know, throughout this program. So thank you to all of you for my constant phone calls and emails asking for your assistance and asking questions as we work through these programs and the requirements. So as we close this out, again, we will be sharing everything. I want to thank everybody for participating. I know this was a lot of information. Please use the contact information within the presentation that we will be sending to send any emails to TEA if you had any questions. And I know TDA will be sharing a contact as well. So we will close this out, and thank you all so much for participating in this presentation today.